Here's a picture of my grandfather, Desmond Butler. As you can see, he was a hunter. He was also an officer in the British Army. After World War II, he went with his regiment, the Royal Welsh Fusiliers, to Somalia, a remote African country. It was a rocky desert land, but it was filled with wild game, and my grandfather took my father hunting. It was the first thing they ever did together. That hunt and the hunts that followed shaped my father's life forever. Many years later, in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, my father taught me to hunt, just as he had learned from his father. He always said that one day he would take me to Africa. My name is Tyson Butler. This is the Moyawasi. It's a giant swamp about 200 miles long in Tanzania, East Africa. There are a lot of fires here, and sometimes they burn out of control. For ages, the Moyawasi has been the home of wild animals. Men have been hunting here for as long as we have existed. As I learned from watching a zebra being eaten alive by hyenas, no animal in Africa dies of old age. My dad said we're on a safari into the past in search of the future. Should we hunt, or is it one of those things we've lost in the 20th century? This story begins in 1909 with President Theodore Roosevelt, one of the greatest hunters and conservationists who ever lived. Instead of running for a third term in the White House, he took his son Kermit on a year-long safari in Africa.
In Africa, a comfortable seat was placed across the cowcatcher of our train, and on this we spent most daylight hours. I was traveling to Nairobi with my son and a great English hunter. At one time, we passed a herd of a dozen giraffes cantering through the open woods, a couple of 100 yards to the right of the train. Another time, a herd of zebra clattered across a cutting of the line directly ahead of us. It was very much as if a railroad had been built through the Garden of Eden.
He wrote about this adventure in a book called African Game Trails. Since it's 529 pages long, it's not exactly the kind of journal I have in mind. He was a pretty good writer, though. Listen to him.
The hunter who wanders through these lands sees sights which ever afterward remain fixed in his mind. He sees the monstrous river horse snorting and plunging in the stream. He sees his laden caravan passing on its march. In after years, there shall come to him memories of the lion's charge, of the gray bulk of the elephant close at hand in the somber woodland. These things can be told, but there are no words that can tell of the hidden spirit of the wilderness, that can reveal its mystery, its melancholy, and its charm. There is delight in the hardy life of the open, in long rides, rifle in hand, and the thrill of the fight with dangerous game.
On dangerous game, it's a moment of anticipation and awareness that a shot misplaced can in turn lead to the hunter being the hunted.
Robin Hurt is the professional hunter who's leading our safari. He's the kind of sportsman President Roosevelt would have admired, a great tracker, marksman, and nature lover. My father has come here to make a movie about hunting. While he's directing the camera crew, I'll be learning all I can from Robin. Before we go home, I hope Robin will take me on my own big game hunt.
The object of the hunter is to be able to end the hunt with a clean shot. When I squeeze the trigger, it's a moment of elation at the final act of the hunt. It's also a moment of sadness and respect for a lost life. Done well, the animal has a quick, clean death, without pain. That poorly done, it will cause unwanted suffering to the animal. As the Spanish hunter Ortega y Gasset said, one kills in order to have hunted. One does not hunt in order to kill.
After nightfall, the campfires blaze in the cool air, and as we sat around them, each man had tales to tell of strange experiences with birds and beasts, both great and small, and of the ways of the great game.
The number of buffaloes which we shot, it was about 4 buffalo, which were from 50 to 54 inches.
Really?
Yeah.
The water was very shallow, and I had to run with the rod all upstream and downstream.
Some of these hunters who are real collectors are incredibly fit. They will go to any extent to get the animals they want, and that means climbing up mountains.
I saw a lioness in Zambia with 4 cubs, and we got in between the 4 cubs and the mama. And the hunter got us out of there so fast he wouldn't.
My father brought together a modern 3-week safari. Everyone here is linked to President Roosevelt either by blood or by their admiration for him. Right now we're cooking the buffalo that Robin shot. Robin has divided the hunters into 2 groups. The first group will hunt Cape buffalo with him in the swamp. The second group of hunters is still trying to decide what their main hunt is going to be.
Here's to the buffalo.
Safari life is very pleasant and also very picturesque. When we were to march, camp was broken as early in the day as possible. Each man had his allotted task, and tents, bedding, provisions, and all else were expeditiously made into suitable packages. The American flag, which flew from my tent, was always carried at the head of the line of march, and after it, in single file, came the long line of burden bearers. All day long, we rode and walked across the endless flats. The game we were after was the buffalo. The buffalo is by many hunters esteemed the most dangerous of African game.
That's very fresh. We're getting close now.
Still warm?
Yeah, very fresh.
Ah, good.
Eh, karibu.
Karibu sana.
Hi, I'm Marvin. We're catching up rapidly. Made a big trail here.
This is Theodore Roosevelt IV, an investment banker from New York. He learned to hunt from his mother and father. He is an active conservationist and is very concerned about the decline of game in Africa. Bartle Bull is a lawyer from New York who is a friend of Ted Roosevelt. He is not sure if he wants to hunt anymore, so on this safari he's an observer. Ray Stanley, a professional hunter and game scout for the government of Tanzania. He's part of their anti-poaching force. Laboso, Robin's gun bearer and buffalo tracker. Makanyanga, a reformed elephant poacher who is now a professional tracker. Robin is guiding Ted Roosevelt on a search for trophy-sized buffalo. That means its horns must be at least 4 feet wide.
When we approach this big herd of buffalo, if they see us, you'll find the herd splits up and runs off. But sometimes you can get a situation where the whole herd may come back on us. If that happens, just stand still, and Ray will sort it out. Okay, he's our defense mechanism on the approach. Okay. Now, as we're approaching the buffalo, you'll see that sometimes I'm deliberately giving some of them the wind. That's on purpose, because with a huge herd like this, we can't check them out without doing that. We got to split them up, and then we can check them out. Okay, let's go.
By the way, these leeches we're getting in here, are these those ones that give you that nice anticoagulant to keep you bleeding happily?
Yeah, just rip them off.
Okay.
Glad I have nice high socks.
Amazing variety of shapes. There's some huge ones. We just got to take out this one on the other side of the herd that looks, I don't know if you can see it. It's not a massive boss, but it's not wide.
One of the great things we look for in a buffalo is the boss. And the boss is this massive helmet that covers the top of the head, and then you get the horns growing out on each side. The old bulls develop this boss or helmet. The young bulls don't have it. And a buffalo without a boss is an immature buffalo. The trophies that are shot are old bulls. By shooting the old bulls, you don't damage the population at all.
It's a lovely buffalo. Look at the boss. It's very deep, very wide. It's nearly 50 inches. He's young. Next year or the year after, he'll be fantastic. Okay, well listen, we're seeing some super buffalo, but nothing that we want. We don't want to be in a hurry because there's a lot of big ones here.
It's hard enough to pick a buffalo with 4-foot horns and shoot him cleanly in the middle of a grazing herd. What makes it even harder is that the buffalo spook at anything moving in tall grass. They instinctively sense that they're being stalked by a pride of hungry lions.
hunting is one of the ultimate sensual experiences that a human being can experience. When you go hunting, you're on the same level as the wild animal that you're in the bush with, that you're hunting. You're in his terrain, you're on his grounds. He's in thick cover, he can hear you coming. He can usually smell you. He's got far better eyesight. You're tracking him. Your instincts are involved. Your emotions are involved. Your senses are involved. Hunting is a way to express and utilize all these emotions and senses. And you have the element of danger. My adrenaline always gets going when I'm hunting. My hunting is a permanent love affair. It goes on and on. If hunting is in your blood, it's with you for your whole life.
While Robin and his group track buffalo, the second group of hunters have heard a rumor about a giant crocodile that may be a man-eater. They decide that's exactly the challenge they've been looking for.
There's a report that there's a crocodile that has been eating some cows.
Don't the crocodiles ever go after humans?
Oh yes, that happens too.
In order to shoot the croc, the hunters have to figure out where it's coming out of the river to attack the Maasai cows.
He's just saying it was an enormous croc, but it's even bigger than that log.
When was the last time it was seen?
Oh, just about every day so far.
Really?
Wala sio kule na sasa hivi. Iko barabara moja kwa moja paka kwenye Lang'ata ile. Kwa hivi sasa.
So you're talking about a 15, 16-foot croc.
Maybe we get him today.
It's not going to be that easy, not if you want to choose. You know, if you want to take the big one, let's go for the big one and bait him.
Natengeneza sigara kama hiyo.
Allah.
Oh yeah? That's maybe tobacco, but what's that right there?
Ile mrefu bange.
That's banga. Banga.
Alafu
I thought so.
kichwa inakuwa
Marijuana?
Na leo.
Marijuana.
He says it's so good you can carry any big log on your shoulder, even if you make a better shot.
Larry Wilson is the son of a Presbyterian minister and the author of a book on President Roosevelt. He is one of the world's authorities on fine guns and has published 20 books on the subject. In other words, when a museum wants to know whether a gun is fake or not, they ask Larry. Greg Martin is from California. Like Larry, he's a collector of fine guns and has brought along some of the original rifles that President Roosevelt used on his safari. Webster Klipswa, a professional hunter and crocodile expert. Harry Muller. In the old days, he was a famous elephant hunter. He was born in Tanzania and has spent his whole life in East Africa. On this safari, he's leading the crocodile hunt.
It looks as if the croc has actually been here. This is quite well worn. I can't think of anything else that would do this. So there's a rocky island. I'm going to put the bait on that. And I'm going to build the blind right here. When we get into position, this will be removed. I don't think he's so smart, you know, like, for instance, a leopard. But if he's so big, let's get him. Right. And the way to get him is to do all these little things that will help. I was brought up with thousands of animals around us on the ranch. I was also brought up I was allowed to shoot, but I wasn't allowed to shoot more than one a month or one a week, whatever the case may be. And I was taught more about animals by being with them and people who love them than anybody could ever teach me. And that is when I became a hunter, when I was a small child.
Harry, how long would it take for a crocodile to gobble that up?
Quite a while if it's tied on.
How's their sense of hearing?
Excellent.
And smell?
Good.
They sound like Cape Buffalo.
Yeah, they're very clever. He could be on the other side of the bank. He could be in the stream. Yeah, if we get a clear shot at him, whatever it is, we just take it.
I get the impression they're not the easiest things to kill.
They're not. It's a fine shot. Your shot is where the thumbs are.
Right there.
Yeah. That's his eyes. See where my thumbs are?
In other words, aim for the eye, between it or behind it?
Behind it.
It's a very tricky shot.
Yeah.
Look at the way they got handles like canoe.
And that current, it's a wonder he isn't halfway downstream already.
And they say this croc has actually followed the canoes.
Wow.
The buffalo hunters have now been out for 12 hours and have covered 15 miles of swamp on foot.
You don't believe it? It's the same herd. They've come all the way down here.
Anybody who leads me through a merry chase like that deserves at least to be looked at.
Yeah, it was a good walk. It's so pretty out here now. Your hat is alive with ants or something. Look at it.
They like you more than they like me, though, Robin.
Well, Robin's sweeter than we are.
No.
A lot sweeter.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Well, that's it. I don't think it's our day.
Looks like it.
Not for us today. Let's go before we get eaten alive.
No, can't be work every day. I've had some lucky walks, though.
As the shadows lengthened, I would again mount and finally ride homeward as the red sunset paled to amber, to opal, and all the vast, mysterious African landscape grew to wonderful beauty in the dying twilight. Kermit, in an exciting eland hunt, showed athletic and hunting prowess and a cool temperament under pressure. On our trip, he passed his 20th birthday. While still 19, he had killed all kinds of dangerous game: lion, leopard, elephant, buffalo, and rhino.
This is Theodore Roosevelt V on the left. He is known as Bear. This is me, Tyson, on the right.
Is that all right?
Tiny bit higher.
Now, really concentrate and relax and squeeze. Don't pull the trigger. Don't say to yourself now, you should know when it's going. Just squeeze, surprise yourself. How's that, Harry?
Slightly right.
Slightly right. Well done. Tyson, how about a go, old chap?
All right.
Okay. So line up right at the bottom of the bull, okay? Put your head forward slightly. You'll be more comfortable. That's it. You're wavering around a little bit. Try and steady yourself up.
I'll go for the bottom round.
Squeeze. Good. Very good squeeze.
9 o'clock
Well
in the
done.
yellow.
Right on, boy. Right in the bull. Good shot.
Nice.
He's stalking now.
Stalking, and there's a grasshopper dead smack in front of him.
He's going to walk right on top of the grasshopper. Oh, he just missed.
Oh.
That grasshopper doesn't know how lucky he is.
Well, he's gonna go off the side of the table here, guys. He won't go.
Can you grab him, babe? Just grab
Okay.
him then. Poor grasshopper seems a bit lifeless, isn't he?
But he is alive. Oh man, this guy's got a horrible grip here.
Now, the only way this is going to work is if we can get him on the end of the stick. Okay. Right. Okay, he'll stop by himself when he gets to you. Right. No. His eyes need to line up on the prey. And that's how he sights.
Okay.
The two eyes line up and then he can line his tongue up on the prey. Because they go for the movement, you see. If the grasshopper stays still, he's safe. Okay, he's going. What a shot.
What a wow. So far, too.
He starts doing this.
The choice of a rifle is almost as much a matter of personal idiosyncrasy as the choice of a friend. My rifles were an Army Springfield .30 caliber, stocked and sighted to suit myself. A Winchester .405 and a Holland & Holland double-barreled 500-450. Beautiful weapon, presented to me by some English friends. At last I have tried the Holland elephant rifle. It is a perfect beauty, and it shoots very accurately. The recoil of the heavy rifle was so severe that it became a standing joke as to whether we did not fear it more than a charging rhino.
There are no roads into the Moyawasi, so we can only get supplies once a week. Hitching a ride on this plane is President Roosevelt's famous double-barreled 500-450 Nitro Express rifle. Larry and Greg had it refitted at Holland & Holland just for our safari.
No room for anything else.
That's directly in from London. There's the old plaque.
Actually, the forend looks like
That's really
Looks
nice.
like the original was on the gun.
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah. What's this?
Well, we've certainly got enough bullets here. These were all made by Alfred Nobel. That's the Swede who invented dynamite and also created the Nobel Prize.
Wow.
480 grains.
Can I see this?
Yeah.
That's
Take
huge.
it out.
This is so big.
Put it back to bed.
We were in hunting grounds practically as good as any that have ever existed. But we did not kill a tenth nor a hundredth part of what we might have killed had we been willing. And we shot nothing that was not absolutely needed, both for scientific purposes and for food. The skin of every animal I shot was preserved for the Smithsonian Institution.
Today, one of the trackers, Muck and Yunga, spotted a trophy kudu, and they decided to go after it right away.
Running through the thorn bushes. That's what kudu hunting's all about.
You had to do that to get it?
After
Yeah,
the
we
first
had to.
shot, we get so excited we were running right through all the bushes. I mean, it's fantastic. And they're very hard to see because although they're a huge animal, they're exactly the same gray colors of thorn trees, and he has 10 vertical stripes that are off-white that look like branches, and so he's not a solid block that you would see. He looks like a bunch of bushes. It's unbelievable. And you always leave a little bit of your blood on the thorn, so it's good.
Unusual thing about it, it's got 3 horns. See that? It's got a third horn going out of his nose.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that unusual?
Yeah.
Beautiful animal.
How many years do you think it would live if my father hadn't shot it?
Only maybe 1 or 2. That's all. It's a very old bull.
All the local Maasai came to get a piece of meat, and we had roast kudu for dinner. When we kill an animal, we divide all the meat between our camp and the Maasai.
Without hunting, the game will go. Let's take the Moyawasi as an example. The Moyawasi is a very special place to me because I feel that I'm part of it. Moyawasi means the endless grass sea. For miles and miles and miles, all you can see is swamp and grassland. And it's a natural refuge for the wildlife. The buffalo have got the right to roam, not rice fields growing in the mud. We've got a huge human population growth in Africa today. And because of this, the animals are being pushed into smaller and smaller areas. Hunting is important in these remaining wilderness areas because it is the income from hunters that keeps it viable. Game fees in the form of licenses create huge returns in revenue for the Tanzania government. Hunting safari companies provide more than half the tourist income for the entire economy of Tanzania. Some of this money is used to finance the game department, which keeps poaching under control. As long as there's hunting in the Moyawasi, and that area is supporting itself through the finance that it earns through hunting, it'll always be there.
Though emphatically against game butchery and emphatically in favor of the preservation of all wildlife, I still feel that the encouragement of a proper hunting spirit, a proper love of sport, instead of being incompatible with the love of nature, offers the best guarantee for the preservation of wild things.
Oh, jeez.
Robin gave me a book about crocs, and I've been learning some surprising facts. An adult croc can outrun most people over a short distance. They hatch out of eggs and can grow to be 20 feet long and weigh 2,000 pounds. They're relics of the age of dinosaurs and descend from a 45-foot monster that used to compete with the Tyrannosaurus rex. The crocs around here are Nile crocodiles. There are at least 1 million of them in Africa and plenty on this river. Crocs have 70 teeth. They lose teeth all their lives. Guess how? They may grow as many as 6,000 teeth in a lifetime. Crocs are the ultimate survivors. Ultimate survivors, that is, until Greg and Larry came to Africa. They're up early this morning so they can bag the croc before breakfast.
Harry, do you think he did that last night? He could have found it just now, because we heard a splash. Really? Dracker and I, we heard a splash like crocodile jaws grabbing something. Don't know if it was.
Well, one thing's sure, we're not wasting any ammunition.
No. He could easily be underwater. Easily. Yeah. He could be right next to us.
On one of these hunts, Kermit killed a crocodile 10 feet long. It was a female and contained 52 eggs, which, when scrambled, we ate and found good.
Harry, there's one thing I want to know. Is there really a croc out there?
Absolutely. There's only one thing I want to know. If it comes, are you going to kill it?
Absolutely.
And that's no croc.
Why do you guys want to shoot a croc?
It kind of evolved into an obsession now because it's almost an act of good faith for the people. The croc came up and killed their cattle, and I believe the croc even killed a person.
If you listen to the local reason for killing any given animal, you would wipe out all the endangered species. For example, there are now under 400 grizzly bears left in the United States. And there's always one reason to kill the next grizzly bear, because he's harassing a tourist who's giving him garbage. And if you take each of the rare, precious animals, it seems to me that we're all going to have a much reduced animal world.
But I only have one question.
What's
Is
that?
the crocodile rare and precious?
Even though legally we can shoot a croc here in Tanzania, legally you can't take it back to the United States. Our conscience says we should take it because it's causing trouble. On the other side, we think twice about it because it's a protected animal.
Yeah, but not here.
Not here, no, but elsewhere.
But on an Africa-wide basis, they are threatened. And if you hunt down each animal in the one place where it still survives in some numbers, you will then have very few of these rare animals left.
You know, what we have here is the Eastern liberal establishment pontificating once again, trying to determine the course of our lives.
By a pontificator, you mean someone who disagrees with you.
Well, let me interject here, because he's thrown out what I consider to be a serious challenge to the Eastern establishment, as you will. To what extent does one delegate responsibilities to a government, and to what extent does one not?
That's why we had the Civil War.
That's exactly why we had the Civil War. Now, 100 years ago, when we were first setting up Yosemite Park, the locals out in the far west said, gosh, don't do that. You're going to destroy our timberlands. Thank goodness we took a much broader perspective. And in this regard, I think the concept that we are the stewards for our children's children is one which should prevail.
And that's probably because you're so far removed that you would never hear the local interest point of view, should there be one.
I don't agree with this argument at all. There is a crocodile that has killed a people's livelihood. There's a crocodile that has killed people.
Automobiles kill 45,000 Americans a year. Do we stop the automobile?
The point is absurd.
Now, the reality is, you are not shooting, sir, in order to save the Maasai cow. You are shooting to make handbags in Spain because you can't import them in the United States. That's the truth, right?
Well, it's partially the truth.
Okay.
I merely said it has become an obsession to get the crocodile now, due to the support I have of the local populace.
To give the Maasai more cattle, that is not one of your concerns.
I never said that. There's just as big a voice out there that says we shouldn't even be here killing any animal, let alone a crocodile.
In the case of crocodiles, we have to shoot them. All Maasais spend their lives in livestock. So we have to shoot them to allow Maasais to have good lives for their cattle.
Well, the point is it's legal in Tanzania to take the croc. Everybody around here wants us to take the croc, and I am taking the croc.
I have no doubt that's your intention. He may elude you.
He may, but that's hunting.
I think we should wrap it up and sleep on it.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting damn hungry.
Gentlemen, let's have dinner.
Manjama, manjama.
I toasted slices of elephant's heart on a pronged stick before the fire and found it delicious, for I was hungry and the night was cold. The country swarmed with the herds and flocks of the Maasai, who own a wealth of livestock. Each herd of cattle or flock of sheep was guarded by its herdsmen. Bands of stalwart, picturesque warriors with their huge spears and ox-hide shields occasionally strolled by us. Their features were well cut, their hair curiously plaited, and they had the erect carriage and fearless bearing that naturally go with a soldierly race.
Kimani, oka. Kimani njoo. Njoo. Bisha. Hii. Bisha. He really wants you watching. Can we give it to him, Ty? Okay. Kimani. Tyson. Hii kijana naitwa Tyson.
Tyson.
Na hii bear.
Bear.
Eh? Okay.
Naye anajua iko sawa sana.
Kweli?
Yeah.
He reckons if we leave it, then means someone who knows how to teach him how to tell the time. Wewe takuwa na hii, si ndio? Kama wewe bana iko na.
Asante sana.
Yeah. You guys want to know how to throw that monster spear?
Come on in.
Hey guys, that's a heavy old spear. Abana tutanga sisi. He's the same age as you, and this spear, he'll kill a lion with it if he has to. He protects his cows with this thing. So Honor, grab it then. Should bend your thumb a little bit. Okay, Tyson. Yeah, make sure it's nice and firm in, okay? Make sure everyone's out the way. All right? Leta jua.
All week we've been finding straw huts filled with skins of giraffes and other animals, even a baby elephant skull. This afternoon we heard shots. Robin immediately radioed the game department, and they came to arrest the poachers.
Robin, how will we know when we're there or where they are in this brush?
We'll see the birds, the vultures.
Oh.
They should be, if there are people there, they'll still be risky. Polly! There they are now, actually.
Holy smokes, they look like signposts, don't they, up there on that tree?
Polly too. It's a good sign the people are still there, you see, because when you get them moving like that, it means something's unsettled. You don't mind us coming?
Yeah, that is all right. Because you can come, but just be on the side.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
Nasikia jamani, twende pole. They're cutting up the meat to put it on the drying rack. Looks like one rifleman and 5 carriers. That's why he's been very careful about it. He doesn't want to approach without having it worked out really well. Stay back. Could be dangerous. We'll stay back.
Arobaini. Safari ngapi tumeukamata sasa unapiga wanyama wa polini? Una license?
Those poachers that we caught in the Moyawasi were small-time meat poachers. They will use snare lines sometimes a mile long. Anything that moves can get caught. 90% of the catch is wasted and dies a slow, horrible death. But the big problems are the people who are in full-time commercial poaching for elephant and rhino. They travel in bands of 50 or 60 strong with automatic weapons and indiscriminately decimate whole herds and hack out the tusks with axes and chainsaws. Bulls, cows, calves, it makes no difference to them. The other problem is, of course, the traders that buy illegal ivory, because when you buy a piece of ivory, you're writing out the death sentence for another elephant. The mammoth, in terms of history, went like that. Now that, like that, may have been several hundred years. But the African elephant is also going like that. And I'm not talking about hundreds of years, I'm talking about 15, 20 years. And in terms of history, the African elephant are going to disappear. off the face of the earth. The quickest species ever to go, unless we do something about it.
It would be a veritable and most tragic calamity if the lordly elephant, the giant among existing four-footed creatures, should be permitted to vanish from the face of the earth.
We take a rifle and our dogs and we go hunting in the hills. My grandmother used to get mad as hell. She used to say, your mother never knows where you are, you know.
Did you ever have any very dangerous experiences or have a bad charge or were you hurt?
You know, I had a fair number of charges, and it's mostly of buffalo, mainly because we were shooting more buffalo than anything else.
And did you have a sort of favorite animal? Something that you really liked to hunt the most?
Yeah, I had a real passion for buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah. They're great animals to hunt. Yeah. You know jolly well that if you, don't handle it properly, you could end up in big trouble.
How did you sort of develop, your own private ethic of when to shoot and what to shoot? And I mean, did you just follow the old English rules of always get the big males, or were you trained in the field by
a lot of it was training, and a lot of it is through professional hunting when, one's clients want the best animals.
Right.
Because of that, one tends to look for the best trophies, which are usually the old males.
Your father, was his whole life working as a ranger?
He was in the Royal Welsh Fusiliers.
Oh, that's a great outfit.
Yeah. Best infantry battalion regiment there ever was.
My grandfather was in the Royal Welsh.
Was he?
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Well, there you are. You see, there's a connection.
How old would you have been when your father first took you out in the bush, the very first trip?
8 or 9 years old.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Was there any shooting on that trip?
Yeah, he shot a couple of elephants.
Yeah. Did that bother you at all or excite you?
Not at all. They were elephants causing trouble.
Were the farmers in those days so troubled by animals that they were always asking hunters to come and help them? I'm going to get one of you creeps later. This is my nap.
Well, it may be time for us to pounce on them.
I think so.
Good.
You're not very good at being tickled, are you? He said he wasn't tickled.
Oh, I know.
Okay, great. I reckon we should go hunting. Well, that fire's catching up by the sounds of it. I can hear crackling away.
Hey, Dad, look what they're doing. They're making a fire.
We don't have enough fires already?
We need to back burn because the way that fire's coming at the moment, it's not safe for us. We burn now, the wind will take it, and we can just drive into the place it's burnt and we're safe.
At noon, we noticed 2 fires coming toward us and could soon hear their roaring. The tall, thick grass was like tinder, and if we let the fires reach camp, we were certain to lose everything we had. So the porters cut a lane around our tents and woods and then started a backfire, section after section in turn, so that we could readily beat out the flames at any point when they threatened. We came upon a dozen crocodiles. I shot one, as I always do. And missed many more.
Something's eaten the bait, and it could only be the croc. I've got a feeling this thing's eating this morning and it was disturbed. Should we sit here and wait? I think it's too cold for him to come out. Why don't we just wait a little while? We can, but your chances are slim with this cold weather. What are those eagles doing? They're a fish eagle. He's a fisherman, but he will eat meat if he can find it.
So what now, Harry? We've been here since dawn. How much longer are we going to have to wait?
Afternoon is the best bet. Let's go.
Harry, what happened? Why is he flying away?
He might be scared by the croc. I thought this was going to be very easy once he's eaten. But he's shown us what he is.
That's amazing.
Never misjudge a croc.
No, that's amazing.
Well, you know, they live to be old people.
What, like 70 years old?
Yeah. I gather even more.
My God. Like turtles.
Yeah. And if he definitely gives me the impression he's very clever. And we might not even win.
I mean, after all this...
After all this, we might not even win.
Well, we're not going to give up, though.
No.
He was a magnificent beast, in his prime, teeth and claws perfect, with mighty fangs and savage heart. He was lying near his mate, and now the maned master of the wilderness, the grim lord of slaughter, was to meet his doom.
Gary, give me my camera. Wow. Yeah, we should let him do this.
Are they dangerous?
These lions are in a valley of a nearby country which has banned hunting. President Roosevelt was here and thought it was paradise. But as you can see, the game isn't wild. It's lost its dignity. Photo safaris definitely have an important place in preserving animals and earning money for African countries. I just hope zoos like this are not the fate of all the great animals. At least some things never change, like our ovens. They could have been used on President Roosevelt's safari. Today we're having the big all-camp shooting contest. The cooks are making special cakes and bread for lunch.
We were in the Kikuyu country. District Commissioner Brown arranged a great Kikuyu dance in our honor. 2,000 warriors and many women came in, as well as a small party of Maasai. The warriors were half naked. Some wore headdresses made out of a lion's mane or from the long black and white fur of the colobus monkey. They danced rhythmically in rings while the drums throbbed and the horns blared. And they danced by us in columns, springing and chanting.
We're going to have a little shooting competition this afternoon, and Greg has very kindly brought over President Roosevelt's 500 450, and how many rounds have you
We've
got?
got a little over 100.
Okay, over 100 rounds.
Enough, it'd be sufficient for the afternoon.
And here's the first and second prize here. African Game Trails
By President Roosevelt.
Yeah. And Colt's an American legend by Larry Wilson himself.
In African game trails, Roosevelt describes the rifle that's being used in the match today. Someplace in there it shows him with a Cape buffalo.
Yeah, there he is.
What is that, about a 46-inch buffalo?
No, nothing like.
President Roosevelt in 1909.
Yeah. See the flag?
Amania, Akwe mangana. Melako.
That's okay now.
Meno. Kotoye. Hey, kotoye. Epe. Kotoye. Melako. Kotoye. Kotoye.
Nice try.
Kwe lafia. Lafia lo. Wahala. Hey, be. Mangana.
Even my dad came out from behind his camera to take a shot. But we decided not to let him in the contest.